listening to the Overcast. Sunshine on a cloudy day. Part of the Oversoul Gaming channel. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Overcast, the joke-making, fun-having pop culture podcast. I am your host, Justin, aka Oversoul.
And I am your co-host, Nick, aka the Vaping Fiend.
Yes, and we're bringing you sunshine on a cloudy day, like always.
Yes.
And it is currently Sunday, November 5th, 2023 at 10:45 p.m. And the current temperature outside is 50 degrees, I believe. 53, actually.
Maybe where you're at. Hold on a sec.
It is for me. It is for me. Yes.
It is 49 here.
Ooh. Well, that's what you get for living by a river. Anyway.
49 feels like 43.
Ouch. Ooh, wind chill in the city. Damn. I thought Chicago was supposed to be the windy city, not Rockford.
Bruh.
Why is Freeport so much warmer?
Dude, so when I was living out in Lake County, the winters out there were so much worse.
Okay.
So much worse because we had the lake effect. Lake Michigan was not that far away.
You know, I think we're warmer out here in Freeport because of all those sulfur leaks.
I'm telling you, bro.
No, this is a callback. Do you remember when I told you the story of how it was like foggy as shit for like 3 days straight for no reason and literally no one noticed at all?
Yeah.
Like nobody said shit. And I was like, what is this Silent Hill nonsense?
I was going to say, yeah, you said something about Silent Hill.
The government is experimenting on this town. That's why everyone acts so weird in the fast food drive-thrus.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
Anyways. No, but okay, but seriously though, ridiculous conspiracies aside, I decided I'm going to start saying, we've been recording these like way in advance and sometimes out of order, so I'm going to start saying the dates at the beginning of them so that you have context for when we recorded it, so that you know how recent or not the news and shit that we talk about is.
Yeah.
You know, just so that there's context, just so that there's no confusion, because, you know, sometimes you may be like, why are they talking about God of War Ragnarok? Shit came out last year, you know? Hey, sometimes in the media corner, though, we bring up old stuff, because we've seen it for the first time recently, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yes.
The news is usually recent at the time of recording, though.
Yes.
Yes, recent and fact-checked.
Yes. Yeah, I had to do that before.
Before we get to the life updates, do you want to tell the audience what our topic is going to be later today?
Our topic today is tearjerkers. Anything having to do with movies, TV shows, even songs that make you cry. Books, even.
Mm-hmm. And video games. All media.
Yeah, video games too. Yeah, all media. Yeah.
Because let's not pretend like there aren't sad moments in the stories of those, too.
Oh, dude. They're dude. For real, though.
Yeah.
There's a game I'm going to definitely need to talk about.
Not just sad moments, but any moment that also gave you happy tears. We will do that too.
We'll count that. Yeah.
Because those are tearjerkers too.
Yeah.
It's because it's a mixed emotion type deal, you know. Plus, I have a very, very good example of that. So Shebab and Doofle. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Indeed.
I had a weekend. I hung out with Kyle and PJ Friday night.
Oh, nice.
We went to PJ's house It was kind of a last minute thing. It wasn't really
Okay,
planned or anything. It was just like
fair enough.
PJ messaged me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to swing my way this evening?" I was like, "I reckon I do." So we did. So I headed out that way. Yeah, because that's how we talk. Uh. Okay. So yeah, we went over there and we watched the first 3 episodes of the new season of Rick and Morty. Um,
Nice.
which I will I could so I just want to point out, by the way, if I was to expect any of my friends to notice the difference in the voices or even just be pissed that Justin Roiland got replaced in the first place, it would be these two. And I asked both of them, "Do you notice a difference in the voices? Do they sound different to you?" And they both said, "No." They both said they sound fine. Here's another prime example. My mom can't stand Morty's voice when he was played by Justin Roiland with all the screeching and the whininess, right?
Uh-huh.
It sounds similar enough to her that she left the room when it was on. so so I will so everybody who says that it's different are really just a bunch of Roiland stans who are butthurt that he got replaced because quite frankly they sound close a fuck enough, you know?
Right.
Um, yeah, so, and now I have 2 people that I really would have expected to notice the difference back me up on there being little difference. So,
Yeah.
so that kind of, now I feel justified. PJ did say, though, there hasn't been a lot of Morty so far. He said he'd have to see more, like a more Morty-centric episode to really judge
Yeah.
his voice. It's mostly been Rick focused, but Rick
Makes
sounds
sense.
fine. So Morty sounds like he finally hit puberty. It's a little less
Wubba
screechy,
lubba dub
but
dub.
otherwise he's the same. So, but anyways, I digress. So yeah, we hung out, we did things, ate stuff. It was good. We had pizza,
Nice.
we had
Ooh,
chips. Yeah,
nice.
we got a little intoxicated. It was a good
Oh
time.
yeah. Nice.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, fun times had by all, and grabbed some Burger King on the way home the next day.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. I've
And
oh, I've heard some things about the fucking new snack wrap ish thing that they have at Burger King. They're
it's okay.
basically saying Burger
I like the
King.
crispy royal wrap.
They're basically saying that Burger King stole the opportunity to bring back the snack wrap when McDonald's wouldn't.
I mean, somebody
Right?
had to. So,
Right.
um it's okay. Yeah, because there's 3 flavors, 2 kinds of spicy and then normal. So
Okay.
I always get the normal one. No, I
I
might
might
be
like the
overselling it.
spicy
I
one.
think there's a spicy one, a honey mustard one, and then a regular one. And the regular one just has the BK Royal sauce on it, which is good.
Okay. Okay.
Which is good. Um, but no, we did the because they have a special right now, and I'm not shilling or nothing. This is just like I know a good deal when I see it. I'm a gamer on a budget, like um, so it's 2 junior Whoppers of any variety for $5. Um,
Okay.
and they were pretty because I got 2 of the barbecue bacon and cheese ones, and they were filling, like just those 2 sandwiches on their own.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that
and they were
sounds yummy.
juniors with everything on them too. Normally I take the onions off, but I didn't this time because the crunchiness went perfectly with the barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, it worked. It worked for me. So another big thing that happened. So this past weekend, like I said, I went to PJ's house, me and Kyle. But the weekend before that, Kyle was actually out here all weekend hanging out with me, and
Okay.
we watched a whole bunch of shit like Family Guy. We watched that new South Park special on Paramount Plus,
How was that?
the Pandaverse one. It was pretty funny. I will say it was basically, man, the whole episode they were going off on like Disney, the whole woke Disney thing.
Hmm.
And the other
They
half of the
bring back. Did
episode,
they bring back the psychotic Mickey Mouse for this one?
No, they didn't, but there was a picture of him hanging in the office. They were mostly making fun of the lady who runs all that shit now. I can't remember her name. Um,
Okay.
but they also did the bit where they were the other part of the episode was that nobody knows how to do anything anymore, so all the handymen are getting super rich and becoming like pimps and stuff.
Oh
And
Jesus fuck.
and instead of it being a bunch of immigrants looking for work outside of Home Depot, it's people who went to college and got degrees because they don't know any like trade
Oh,
any trade
okay.
work. Yeah, it's very clever, and also because AI is replacing everything. So
Yeah.
that was kind of
Yeah.
like the big pull. So they did. So it was two different things, and I will say in the shows you have to remember South Park never really takes sides. They go after everyone equally, but this episode felt very one-sided for most of it. Like they were going hard on Disney's diversity stuff and they were like saying that multiverse stuff is lame and stupid and yada yada, and they were pandering cuz there's a multiverse where all of the characters are replaced by diverse females. Um
Oh jeez.
yeah.
Okay.
So, but at the end of the episode, they basically say that these two things are the cause of each other. You know, like Disney keeps doubling down on the diversity because they keep getting racist hate mail from stupid people. And basically, Cartman represents all of the racists in the
Oh
audience.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah,
That's
as you can
that's fitting for Cartman. That's definitely
yeah.
fitting for him.
So there is a lesson there, but of course, stupids on the internet took it, they of course cherry picked the parts of the episode they liked and ignored the part at the end where it flipped the script on them because, confirmation bias. So, of course
Yeah.
they made memes out of it, so anytime they see something like literally I saw a post today on Facebook where they just announced
Uh-huh.
that this the new one of the new heads of Microsoft is this African American lady, and like so many of the comments were like memes from that South Park episode, where
Oh
like
jeez.
where it's just like this multiverse version of Cartman who runs Disney as this angry woman, and he or she or whatever just
Uh-huh.
keep saying, put a chick in it and make her gay. Uh, is
What the fuck?
Yes,
Okay.
you have to watch this. It's on Paramount Plus. It's
Oh yeah, no,
handled.
I'll definitely plan on watching it. I
It was
definitely
an
plan on watching it. Yeah.
it was a clever episode. I get what they were trying to say that Disney doesn't have any original ideas anymore. I get it, but they were also
Yeah.
but they also called out the stupid racist people too. And
Yeah.
that's the part that people on the internet conveniently miss is that they got called
Yeah.
out. They got called out too. So, it's yeah, it's a double-sided message, and it's just people choose to see which part of it they want to, just like every single South Park thing. Just like when in season 20 when they started making fun of Trump and so many people bitched about it, and they ignored the fact that
Oh, that shit was funny.
in season 9 they spent all of season 19 making fun of PC culture, so it was fair. They did one, then they did the other, but when they did the other, those who laughed during season 19 are suddenly offended during season 20. You know what I mean? it's
Yeah.
it's hypocrisy. But where I was going with this was yeah, Kyle was here, we were hanging out, but one night outside my bedroom window here, I heard some rather loud screeching, and I look out, and there's this kitten that can't be any more than a couple weeks old, very tiny, out there in the parking lot just screaming its head off. There's an adult cat nearby that is like paying no attention to it, so it can't be mama. It just doesn't care. The kitten gets close to it and it keeps running away. So I um go out there and I bring it closer to the building and I point it out to the landlord, and she comes out and
Uh-huh.
she's like, "Oh, this poor thing, we got to get it." And it like ran under a car and we had to coax it out, but we got it. And she brought it into her mom's apartment, and they like gave it some formula and warmed it up and everything, and they took it to the vet.
Good.
It had fleas. It was super malnourished. The vet said that kitten would not have made it through the night if they didn't take it in. So,
Good. Good,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad you were able to spot that one, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's this cute little female tuxedo cat. It's got well, it's just
No,
I don't know if it's tuxedo so much as just black and white, but it's got a half a mustache. It's got like
like,
above its
like,
it,
okay,
it's above its lips. It's got like instead of the black line going all the way across, it's just on one side.
okay.
Yeah, got a little half stash.
Half stash. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So but anyways, that's what I've been doing lately. Everything else will be talked about in the media corner. What's up with you?
So, eh, nothing too much to report on this week. Um, but I did happen to watch the Barbie movie. The Barbie movie, yeah, I watched it with I watched it on Plex with my girlfriend Sarah. We did a virtual watch party. So we did that. I liked it. It was dark. Like, not in sense of the demeanor of the film itself, because obviously it's a very bright colored movie.
And a comedy.
Yes, and a comedy, but this shit, the humor in this, the so many like dark moments, bro. Like, this is like the depression Barbie. What?
Yes, aha, yes.
Bro, like, this is some, like, I was like, up until that point I'm like,
It's a deep
now
look
I
into
it,
into
it's
the
a
psyche of of that character of the
yeah. I don't
not the
know if
Barbie, not the Barbie, but the character who created those ideas. You know,
yes. Yeah, no, it's yep. Mm-hmm. And
which actually made a pretty good twist, if you ask
it
me.
really did. I I don't know if I feel comfortable letting my daughter watch this one just yet.
It's an adult comedy. It's not a kids movie.
No, but she had been bugging me about wanting to watch it, and I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this first to make sure.
I would say, I mean, teenagers are probably okay.
Oh yeah, teenagers are fine, but my daughter, she's 5.
Although
No.
I guess when you think about it, are the adult jokes any worse off than like your typical Disney movie? Although I still think it's funny that Ryan said Barbie and Black Panther are basically the same story when you think about
Well,
it.
huh? How?
He said that in the Halloween episode. Did you did you forget? He said there's a YouTube video where somebody explains the story of both of them in such a way that it could apply to either movie.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's okay. We do a lot of these. All right. Well, we've done a lot of these. If you called 20 a lot, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes. Well, in the grand scheme of things, maybe not, because I was listening to the PlayStation podcast earlier and they're like, welcome to episode 467.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, oh yeah, this has been going since like 2012. Anyways, outside of the Barbie movie, what else? Wait, we haven't recorded since you and Sarah came to visit. Uh, we haven't recorded since then, have we?
Yeah, we recorded last Sunday.
Okay, did we talk
Last
about
Sunday.
that? Did we
Last
talk
Sunday.
about you guys coming over and watching SNL?
y- Did we?
I don't know if we did. But anyways, that was a thing that happened recently, folks.
Yeah. No, I we I
Him and Sarah
me
came to visit me again.
yeah, me and Sarah came to visit, and then oh yeah, no, we did talk about that cuz we talked about it before it happened.
Oh, we talked about that you were going to come out, right? Because you
Yeah.
okay. All right. Yeah,
Yeah, we talked about
we
it
must
before
have
it happened.
skipped recording the weekend that you came out then.
Yeah, probably. Wait, no. because that's the night that I watched Saw X, and that was the Saw X record. That was the Saw X review.
Okay, that's what that was. Yeah, we did the review of
Yep,
Saw X instead of a normal episode.
yep. It
Right,
was a
right.
bonus, a bonusode.
Yeah, I need to start a spreadsheet. I can't keep track anymore. Um, all right. So, anything else?
Uh oh, um, the Ice Hogs game that Sarah and I went to. Uh, I have not seen the Rockford Ice Hogs play like that in a long time. Um, there was a like she was there was a lot of shit talking at the very beginning of the game. I love her so much, but that shit talking came back to bite her in the ass because the Ice Hogs beat the Iowa Wild 6-2.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good game. I will say that. I don't think I honestly I think the I could be spitballing here, but I think the reason the Iowa Wild was having such a hard time was because there was a this belligerent Ice Hogs fan directly screaming at the Iowa Wild's goalie. And I don't know if that was throwing the goalie off or what, but I think that might have had something to do with it.
Okay.
Because she had gotten because she's a season ticket holder with the Iowa Wild, and she was able to get the Iowa Wild guest the member services person to reach out to the member services for the Rockford Ice Hogs, and she was able to get season ticket seating for us for the game. So we were pretty close to the ice. We were pretty close to the ice. Um, but yeah, no, there was this other season ticket holder just belligerent. It was $2 beer night, and he had probably had one too many beers, and he was belligerently yelling at the Iowa Wild goalie. At one point, I think I remember him saying, "You couldn't stop a beach ball or some shit like that." Like he was going
You
in on him, but
couldn't.
like, oh man, no, this one, it was a good game. I have not seen the Hogs play like that in a while, and I've been keeping up with their scores, and they've been dominating over the last couple weeks. Like over the last few games, they bet like yesterday they were in um Winnipeg, Manitoba, playing the Moose, and they were there again tonight, and they dominated both. The Ice Hogs dominated both nights.
All
Like
right.
I think we have a potential to be in the running for the Calder Cup this year. For this season, I might be I might be like preemptively pulling the trigger there, but I have a good feeling about this season for the Hogs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's your sports update, folks.
Yeah, there's that.
You know what I was just thinking? Just a little peek into the future. We should do like a debate episode one of these
Yeah.
days. Just like a fun like where like regardless of how we actually feel, we just
Okay.
like we take the sides of different things. Like one of us takes Coke and the other Pepsi, one of us takes Xbox, the other PlayStation, and we argue about like in favor of which one is better and why. Or just
I
like
like I
I
like that idea.
yeah, and I hope you're prepared because one of the things I'm going to have us discuss is whether or not a hot dog is a sandwich. So
Oh,
that'll
Jesus
be
fuck. Okay.
yes. Also, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Stay tuned.
I don't know. I've never seen it, and I need to watch it before that episode then.
You need to watch it before the Christmas episode. That's one we're gonna do too, folks. We did a Halloween episode. We're gonna do a Christmas one too.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited for that
yeah.
one. Christmas is my favorite holiday, y'all.
We just we're gonna cover we're gonna cover those holidays because a lot of movies focus on them. You don't really get a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
like Fourth of July and Easter movies. You know what I'm saying?
No,
No, you
not
get
for real.
you get horror movies for Halloween. You get Christmas movies for Christmas. You don't really get a lot of Thanksgiving movies either. It's
There
usually
wa-
Christmas. It's usually
There
combined.
was that one Thanksgiving movie. It was an animated movie called Freebird.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's a Thanksgiving movie, I would say.
Is it? Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a good
that's,
one.
That's a Thanksgiving movie.
Okay.
One could even argue
You know, okay.
the Nightmare Before Christmas, since it's Halloween and Christmas, should be watched on Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. That could be watched any time of the year, though.
It can, but should it?
Yes.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that. It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Yeah,
It is a good one.
And the Corpse Bride.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
No, I forgot. I was gonna say something. I lost what I was gonna say. God damn it. Okay.
well, unfortunate as it is, it sounds like as good as an excuse as any to move into the media corner.
Yes.
All right, let's
Off
do
we
that.
go.
Hello, Misty. You crazy bitch. It's been a while. I take it you know why I'm here.
Okay, I'm out of here.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Media Corner, the part of the show reserved for news, reviews, and recommendations. And
Yeah.
today, in this one, I'm going to have, I want to say, 2 reviews and 1 recommendation. What about you?
I'm gonna have 3 reviews.
Ooh, 3 reviews. I guess.
Well,
If you review
I can't-
something
I-
and also
I can't-
recommend it, you could call it a rec-a-view or.
I can't. Okay, so I can't give a full recommendation or review on one of them
Okay.
just yet. But I am gonna talk about it because I love it.
You can give
I
a
love
rec. You can give a rec. That would be a recommendation then. If you're saying
Okay, yeah.
you like it and people should check it out, but you can't. But you're not reviewing it. That's a recommendation. So
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, why don't you kick us off then?
Yeah. So this is fresh on my mind. Actually, just before recording, I just got done watching, Insidious: The Red Door on Netflix. It dropped on Netflix yesterday at the time of recording this.
Okay.
Yeah. It dropped on Netflix on a Saturday. On a Saturday, I've never heard of anything dropping anywhere on a Saturday.
Ooh, how insidious of them.
Right, dude. Okay, so this movie. Oh my god, so many jump scares. Fucking loved it. But what really threw me for a loop is Dalton and Foster are all grown up,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not all grown up. Dalton's off to college. That's not technically a spoiler because it's I think it's part of the trailer. I think.
Yeah, it's the setup for the story.
Yeah, set up for the story. I know. He's in college.
And they erased his memory of what
Yeah,
happened.
no, they suppressed his memory because of they had him convinced that he was in a coma for a whole year when he was 10.
During
and
the events of
didn't
the first
remember-
movie.
During the events of the first movie, and he had no memory of what happened during that entire year.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay, so That knowing that the whole the entire first film took place over the course of a year, that's insane.
Well, I think that's including the first and second movie, technically.
Yeah, you're not real. That's true. Okay. Now there is a return of a certain character. I'm not gonna say which character that is because that would be a spoiler, and I'm not doing that because this is not a boney-sode. This is just a mini review.
Well, also, this movie is not past its statute of limitations yet. If
That's fair.
it's past the statute of limitations, we can definitely talk about it.
That's
But
fair.
this isn't. This came out this year, so
Yeah, it did. It did. I think it came out in July, didn't it? I think we. I remember. I think I remember talking about it on a previous episode
okay.
about it before it was hitting theaters.
Here's two things I want to know. The first thing I want to know is, does it tie in with The Last Key at all? Is there anything from that was like
The Last Key?
Makes that movie actually matter?
Not that I can tell.
Damn. Okay. I was, to be honest, I was disappointed in The Last Key. I like all the other ones. I just was hoping that this movie would justify its existence.
No, this one though definitely ties into the first two.
Yeah, I'm glad that they go back to that. I'm glad that they're getting back to the main story there.
Yeah, no, I I love it.
The other
Love
thing
everything to do with it.
You said it had a lot of jump scares. My question is it like over reliant on them, or is there is there a decent amount of like the psychological stuff they had in the first movie too? Like
Yes.
focusing on. So is there a good amount of like blink and you'll miss it shit in the background kind of stuff? You know, like
Yes and no.
okay.
Yes and no.
Because I prefer the show don't tell with the horror movie things, because you know, like in the first movie there was that scene where she's walking around the house and at one point she walks through a room and there's like a boy standing there by the wall and it's like you kind of almost have to rewind it to catch it, but he's there.
Yeah.
You know, I love when they do stuff like that. You know,
There was a line in this movie that kind of hit home a little bit with my off audio personal life shit that's going on.
okay.
I'm not going to talk about it, but I will say the line that hit home for me, and the line was, we could learn a lot from kids.
Fair. And also true.
Yeah, very fucking true.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you felt good about the story, the acting.
Oh my god, yes.
The way it was filmed, all that.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Dude, you have to hop on this shit. You got to hop on this shit.
I will be checking
so
it out
good.
at some point.
It's so good.
I'll definitely be checking it out at some point for sure.
Okay.
Okay then. Well, if this is a review, then what's your rating?
9.5.
Okay.
Wait, no. I can't. It was too well done. 10.
You are an extremely generous reviewer. I will say that.
No, like, I like the way that it tied in with the first two movies. That's my reasoning behind that.
That's fair. I honestly, everyone's entitled to their own rating. I can't say much because I haven't seen it. So
fair, yeah, true.
I guarantee you, it probably won't be that high for me though.
Fair.
I mean, you really have to break the mold to get that high of a score from me. Like I said, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said before, it's like shit like Lord of the Rings and stuff. But I use examples like that because those are like phenomenal, like Oscar-winning, like solidified in movie history type movies. You know, like regardless of how you personally feel about movies like Titanic or
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings or Scarface or Godfather or Star Wars or any of that shit, there's no denying how important they are to movie history.
Oh,
And how
absolutely.
big they are. Those are all 10 out of 10 movies, regardless of how anyone personally feels about them. Plenty of people, you don't like mafia movies. There's plenty of people who don't like sci-fi stuff too, so
That's fair.
it doesn't,
Yeah.
appeal to them, but I think we can all agree that regardless of how we personally feel about these movies, they are legends in
Yes.
cinema history.
Absolutely. There's
Yeah.
no dismissing that.
Um okay. So all right. So you enjoyed that.
I
I
did.
All right. So I will start with hmm yeah, screw it. I'll start with this game, Fort Solace, that I played recently. Now,
Okay.
you may remember they talked about this a little bit at the Game Awards last year, and then a little bit at Summer Game Fest this year
I
too.
remember Summer Game Fest. Yeah.
Um, yeah, Troy Baker on stage talking about it a bit.
Yeah.
This is not a horror game. It is more of a sci-fi thriller, and it's not. It is a story-focused game. Like truly, there's the only way that you can quote unquote lose this game is by getting the bad ending, and the only way you can do that is by fucking up the QuickTime events at the very, very end. At the very
Fair
end.
enough.
Um, but it's not one of those. You can mess up every other QuickTime event in the game, and literally all it does is change the cutscene a little bit. Things keep going forward. So, because it's not that kind of game. What this game is a game that's all about the story. It's basically what some people would call a walking simulator, like Edith Finch or Everyone's Gone to the
Okay.
Rapture. But it's a bit more than that, and it's not in first person, it's third person. But basically, these scientists are on, I want to say, Mars or something, and long story short, science goes wrong and a bunch of people get infected, and the head botanist tries to cover up the truth, and this guy who tries to expose the truth gets in trouble, and he kind of goes on a murder spree to stop all of the infected people on the base from leaving. And you end up playing as
Okay.
two people that come in during the aftermath of this and are trying to, you know, escape this crazy axe wielding maniac while also piecing together what happened. And it's not like he's like roaming the halls trying to get you while you're playing like an actual horror game. No, it's all scripted. It's all cutscenes. It's all scripted.
Okay.
You can't die. You're never in danger. It's just spooky atmosphere because everything's dark and everyone's dead. And
It's story driven.
and there's
Story driven.
and there's blood everywhere. Yeah, but it's literally like playing a 4-hour movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, though, I have a couple of problems with it that like the characters kind of move too slow, especially in situations where they should be running for their lives.
Right.
And shit like that. Like I wish there was a sprint button. I felt I hated like walking on the surface of the planet. You can't see
Yeah.
see shit when you're outside because there's a storm going on, so you have to rely on your map to see where you're going, but it's straightforward. The puzzles are easy. The collectibles are easy to find. I got the platinum in it. I beat the game in like 5 hours and got all the trophies. So
Not bad.
yeah, so it was an easy one. I find the story very engaging, but this is not. There's no replay value here. It's a one and done kind of deal. Unless you want to backtrack and find the collectibles you missed. Some of them are worth it, but they basically boil down to video logs and audio logs from the crew that tell you what happened before you got there.
Right.
So it is good to find them. And Troy Baker plays the villain in this, and he's like really creepy.
Okay.
It's the voice of Joel from The Last of Us and Booker DeWitt.
Okay.
Booker DeWitt in BioShock Infinite. He's in a lot of shit. But yeah. So I I would
What would
give
you rate it?
this. Yeah, I was gonna say I would give this like a 7 out of 10. It's
7 out of 10.
yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. It's good enough. It's not like it's not great. It's not like spectacular. There are better games of this genre of
Mm-hmm.
the walking sim with a horror vibe genre, like What Remains of Edith Finch. That one's phenomenal. That's a 9 out of 10 game. This one is
Okay.
this one is okay. It had some issues, but it was a very enjoyable narrative. I found the narrative engaging for sure, and I wish that it had a little more pizzazz. It kind of the climax kind of fizzles a little bit, but it's still a good story. Um, so yeah, a 7 out of 10 for this one. It's probably not going to win any awards at the Game Awards, but I do think it's a good rental,
Mm-hmm.
like a GameFly rental if you just wanted to. And if you have PlayStation Plus Premium, there's an hour trial, and that's basically a quarter of the game finished right there.
Fair.
So yeah, and
Oh,
it's only $30 too, so there's that as well.
that's not bad.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a
I enjoyed it. Hello, audience. Oversoul here with a quick editor's note. Just wanted to let you know that I've actually cut the next section out of the media corner because Nick gives a recommendation for the game Man of Medan. Now, in terms of when we recorded these episodes, this would have actually been his first time talking about it. But since we recorded this episode before some of the other ones we put out, and in those ones he also talks about that game, but he'd already been into it for a while and started playing it. So instead of confusing you by having you listen to his experience with that game in reverse order, I'm just cutting that section out of this episode entirely. But, for the sake of fairness, I also cut several things that I said out of the life updates section because they were also no longer canonically relevant. For example, I mentioned finally finding work, but in episodes that you've already heard, I would have talked about how that work is going. So, again, to avoid confusion, I've cut some things out for the sake of continuity. So that's what's missing from this episode of the Media Corner. So we're just going to jump straight into the next thing, which is another review from me. Enjoy. Okay, time for another review from me. This one is
Okay.
for a TV show.
Oh.
The first and maybe only season? I don't know. Because this show is a spin-off. Are you familiar with the Amazon Prime gory superhero
The
show
Boys?
The Boys? Yes. Okay.
Okay,
So,
I know where you're going with this.
there's a spin-off
Yes.
show called Gen V, and
Oh god, I need to get on that.
it is I would consider it required viewing for The Boys. Gen V is essentially season 3.5 of The Boys.
I
It
got to get on
is
that.
it is important. Because
Canonical.
it's canonical. It's highly canonical, and I would say extremely important because I feel like things that happen in this show are going to affect stuff that happens in the next season of The Boys to some
Oh,
degree at
dude.
least.
I'm excited for season 4.
Yeah, watch this first. You have to watch Gen V first.
Oh,
You
I
have
plan on it. I
Okay.
plan on it.
So it's 8 episodes. Each one's about 40 minutes. It's just as violent and gory and over the top as The Boys. But
Fucking bet.
this is about a college for superheroes, Godolkin University, where there is secretly an underground laboratory where they are doing horrifying experiments, trying to
Okay.
create a way to rid the world of superheroes, basically.
Okay.
And the show basically becomes a investigative, let's team up and solve this mystery gang kind of ordeal, but with a lot of
Right.
blood and cursing, you know. Because it's in the Boys universe. It's really cool. The main character, her powers, she's a bloodbender. She has the ability to control blood like a waterbender could with water.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay.
But basically, long story short, an incident happens on campus, and it catches the attention of Vought, and everything starts spiraling from there.
Fucking
So,
Vought.
yeah.
Man.
So yeah,
I
they
got
definitely
beef
have.
with Homelander, okay?
Everybody
Homeland
does.
Homelander's a piece of shit.
His actions at the end of the last season actually have a direct impact on a lot of things that happen in the story of this show.
Oh, that intrigues me even more. Say less.
So yeah, so there you go. Especially in certain episodes,
I believe it.
there's definitely a group of protesters that are pro Homelander in one episode.
Okay.
Yeah, there's this seems to be, I think, what they're building up to, and I think what it's gonna climax to in a upcoming season of The Boys. If not next season, then definitely the one after.
Right.
Is they're trying to create a war between humans and superheroes. I think is what they're building up to in
Okay.
in like this franchise in general.
Okay, so I heard Ryan talking about this on Fortress of Nerditude a little bit,
Yeah,
and he said that there was a lot there's a lot of the character from season 3 of The Boys, Soldier Boy, played by Jensen Ackles.
there's a cameo. Yeah, there's a
A
cameo.
cameo?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a good cameo too.
Okay.
Yeah, really good one. So, I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring that up or not because I didn't know about it. So when I saw it, it was a nice surprise. um,
Fair. Okay. You know,
but
I heard about it through the podcast Vine.
yeah. So, yeah, this show is great. It's crazy how they take like superpowers that are like cliche, like the ability to shrink or grow big, like Ant-Man, but then they
Yeah.
add like real life disparity to it. Like there's a girl in the show who she can do that. She can shrink or grow big, but in order to shrink, she has to vomit. In order to grow big, she has to binge on food. So she has body image issues as a result.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they get deep with it. It's
Okay.
like that's one of the things I appreciate about the Boys universe is that it is realistic. This is what superheroes would actually be if they were real. There's like
Yeah.
everyone's like Marvel, DC. That shit's a Candyland cotton fantasy. Like this,
Pretty
it's like
fucking much.
even when they get violent, it still pales in comparison to what it would actually be like. The
Yeah, like in
Boys
The Boys.
is
The Boys.
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Not only
bruh.
that, but the way
Bruh,
that
you ain't lying.
the way that corporations merchandise the shit out of them and everything too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the way that superheroes are pushed for political gain and yada yada. You know,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the way that they're used to help win wars, that would be real.
Yeah, I fucking would.
The Boys is probably some of the most poignant social commentary I've ever seen. It is
Yeah.
so good.
Love every minute of it.
And Gen V is just as good as The Boys. This Gen V season 1 is a solid 9, maybe even a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Ooh. That's
Yeah.
high praise.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Oh man. It's so
that says a lot, and that
Yeah.
makes me want to watch it even more.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Oof.
All right,
Man.
what's the third thing on your list?
I watched on a Halloween night. I watched the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh, I can piggyback.
Yeah.
I can piggyback on this one.
Yeah, no, like okay. I coming from someone who has never played any of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, I was able to keep up with it. You sent me that 7-minute lore video on the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, and I watched that. I'm like, holy fuck, this shit is dark.
Yeah, good context. For those
Right, and
for those who don't know in the audience, the lore of the Five Nights at Freddy's games is, long story short, bad men kill children, ghosts of children possess animatronics, animatronics kill security guards.
yes,
And
yes,
also kidnap more children to make more of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, fucking the fact that he like stuffed the corpses of the children into the animatronic bodies to go, because no one's gonna check the animatronics. No one's gonna check the animatronics. So the Freddy Fazbear's is they check that off the list of where the missing children might be.
Yeah.
Fuck, this is some dark shit.
I had a very baseline knowledge of the lore of the games going into this. Basically, what in that video I sent you,
Yeah,
and I've watched Markiplier play some of the games. I haven't watched them all start to finish, but I know enough. And
I didn't know anything about these games
Sister
going into this.
Sister Location was a fun watch because they switched it up. I never played the games because when I watched them, I was like, this doesn't look fun to me. Like, I like horror games, but to me, it's not. I don't like the concept of, like, I'm just sitting in one spot, like, playing red light, green light with a bunch of killer robots for.
Yeah,
See,
no,
that whole thing. Like, it's not that it's too scary or whatever, and those jump scares get cheap as hell in those games, but
yeah,
it's not about that. It's not about the horror aspect of it. It's about the fact that that style of gameplay is so repetitive that I don't. It's too repetitive for me. I need more variety than that, and that's
and
why the further they went when they finally did Sister Location, and like each you go to different spots and do different puzzles and stuff, and then they have Security Breach where you're
yeah,
actually moving around like a real horror game. It got better as it went, but like the first couple of games, that style of just like
yeah, no, yeah.
keep you close the door and check the camera and close the door and check the camera and like that, I can't. It's yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's like seems to be like the talk of the fucking internet when it comes like to younger kids. Cause like
Yeah,
yeah,
because
the
it's
kids
because of
like
the
to
Let's
go.
Players. It's
Yeah,
because of the
kids like
Let's
to go
Players.
on. Yeah, and they make kids costumes for this kind of shit.
Yeah, that's why the movie was only PG-13. But
That's fucking dark.
I will say though, I
That's
wasn't.
dark.
Well, it's kind of like there are a lot of quote unquote horror games that scare the hell out of the people who are playing them on YouTube, and they're meant for people of that age. Like Markiplier, he's in his 30s, but
Yeah,
his demographic, the people who watch him, are people from like the age of like 8 to like 50. So, um,
yeah.
so a lot.
There's that other one. Poppy Playtime is
Yeah,
another one.
Poppy Playtime, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Hello Neighbor. These ones are all popular with younger kids because they're more accessible to them. Because it's not like Outlast or Resident Evil where it's like super like violent and
Yeah,
over the top. It's more like the Five Nights at Freddy's games aren't even violent. It's just constant jump scares.
yeah.
So, and same could be said for Bendy and the Ink Machine. There's no blood. It's all ink.
Right. So what I thought was cool about this movie is okay. I've seen Josh Hutcherson in a lot of shit. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Bridge to Terabithia. We've got
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, Cirque du Freak, The Vampire's Assistant was another one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Zathura was another one.
Oh yeah.
He was
Deep
also
deep cut.
dude. This shit, like, okay. I'm gonna pull up his fucking because I practically watched this kid grow up.
He was good in this movie for sure.
He was.
I don't say this often because taste is subjective and all that, but
Yeah,
I think the critics are wrong here. I don't think this movie is specifically pandering to the fans. I think it stands on its own two legs.
it does. Because I'm not a fan. I'm not. I've never played the games, and I liked it. He was in
Yeah,
Adventure to the Center of or Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser. Let's
yeah.
see. He was in RV with Robin Williams. He was Carl.
I will say there are a couple moments in this movie where characters make immensely stupid decisions, but that's just par for the course with horror these days.
Yeah. But
Um,
no, like dude, I've seen this kid in so many movies.
did the
I feel like I practically watched him grow up.
well, we don't have time to go through the whole list, so
No, I'm not. I'm not.
the
Those are the big. Those are the bigger movies that I remember seeing him in.
um yeah, I was gonna say even with someone with just base knowledge of the games, I felt like this movie was still pretty decent.
Yeah,
It
yeah. No,
was
I
it
liked
was
it.
in it was enjoyable, at least it was entertaining.
You know
I
who
felt
else
like
was another?
it had a tone shift. It had a weird tone shift in the middle, and
Yeah.
then because it was like horror at first, and then in the middle it kind of like becomes like fun, and then it
Mhm.
turns into horror again at the end. you know.
Yeah. No. Seeing Matthew Lillard in this too was pretty cool.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Zoink, Scoob.
Yeah, man. He's gotten old.
Yeah, he has.
I almost didn't recognize him. Holy shit. you know.
Yeah. No, that was Matthew Lillard.
I thought they
That
did
one.
pretty good with this. I'll say I was
Yeah.
surprised for this only being PG-13. There were a couple of times where they were like, let's see how much we can actually, because like most of the deaths happen off screen and they're very censored because it's only PG-13. It's kind of a
That's the only complaint I have about this movie is a majority of the deaths were happened off screen and it didn't.
but they were not without their blood and aftermath because if you remember, there's a scene close to the end of the movie where we see all of the bodies
Yep.
at once, and
Uh
the guy who got his face chewed off by that cupcake definitely had a face full of blood
huh.
at
Sure
that
the
point.
fuck did. Sure
Um,
did.
I will say that yeah, like the visual of the saw blade slowly coming towards the security guard was pretty horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact: the security guard that gets the usual, opening of the horror movie death.
Hmm.
The security guard in the beginning. That was supposed to be Markiplier, but scheduling conflicts with his movie Iron Lung made it so he wasn't able to be in this. But that was going to be him.
Gotcha.
Markiplier was going to play the security guard who died in the beginning because throughout the movie there are actually cameos from several different YouTubers. Um,
I noticed that. I noticed that.
so the guy who drives the taxi cab was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the funny mid-credit scene with him, by the way?
Yes. I think.
Where the Balloon Boy toy shows up in his taxi cab and scares him?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Little Balloon Boy toy
Yeah.
just kept popping up randomly.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I like how they stayed true to the lore of the games and put their own twist on it.
Oh yeah.
That,
No,
that
it
was
was well done.
that was fun, and the jump scares were pretty equivalent to what they were in the games. So I was expecting that.
I'd have to say, what would you rate it?
I'd give it an 8.
I'd okay. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Because
I was gonna
it's
give it
not
an 8.5.
perfect,
I was gonna give
but
it an 8.5, but I can agree with 8.
yeah, it's not perfect, but it's enjoyable. I don't have many complaints. It's just some of the characters are
Right.
stupid. I will say this. One of the reasons I'm giving it an 8, one of the things that, bumped it up for me, not down, it might have been like a 7.5 if it wasn't for this. But there's a scene where a character gets killed in a way that I was not expecting for a PG-13 movie, but
Uh-huh.
without saying who, suffice it to say this character gets bitten in half by an animatronic. And
Uh-huh.
you see the shadow of it
Yeah.
happening, and you hear the crunch, and you're like, "Damn, that's crazy." But what you're
That
not
was there was some
you're
major
not
bone crunching.
yeah. What you're not expecting is for the camera to cut to that person's lower half of their body laying on the ground, which I wasn't expecting for it being
No.
PG-13. So like
Right.
you see the torso fall. So
Yeah.
that was kind of that was pretty cool and also accurate to the lore. So I was kind of glad
Yeah.
they did that, really showing you how these animatronics can defy the laws of physics to get away with killing people.
Right.
Or should I say, the ghosts of the dead children possessing the animatronics.
That.
I do like how the protagonist just takes it all in stride when they learn that it's ghosts. They're like, oh, okay, ghosts. Yeah, that's cool. That's the last thing I needed right now.
Right.
Yeah, also very interesting, kind of deep and emotional storyline going on with the main character in that movie
Oh,
too.
absolutely. Yeah, no, because
With the whole
without
custody battle for his sister and all that.
that lady gave off major Karen vibes.
Yeah, I hated his aunt. What a
Oh my god.
un
She
un, un
no,
what a Cruella Deville.
get fucked, Karen.
Yeah, she's God. What a horrible woman. And not yeah, because what she was hiring those kids to do for her was very illegal too.
Yeah, it sure the fuck was.
I like when the lawyer's like, I shouldn't be hearing this, and she's like, sit down. Like,
Yeah,
damn,
no. Like bruh.
he's not a very good lawyer.
No, but I'm oh my god. See,
Like you know it's a Karen when they have their lawyer whipped.
yeah. Sure the fuck do. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Holy shit. Yeah, that was a fun movie.
It was.
I at first I had some complaints about some of Vanessa's choices, like I'm like, look, I know you have your own personal involvement in this and your issues, but like at the same time you're a cop. You can't just I trying to save their sister or not, you can't just hand over your vehicle to a civilian. You would be so fired. Like
Yeah, sure the fuck would.
it was just shit like that I notice sometimes.
Uh-huh.
That was an 8 out of 10 for you, huh? Any more thoughts on this one?
Uh no. No, not really.
It was an
Pretty
enjoyable
much.
ride, huh?
It was. It
Let
was.
me ask you,
I enjoyed it.
did you have a favorite kill in this one?
Ooh. Ooh.
Don't spoil like who it is, but you can talk about the method of killing.
No, I don't.
No, okay. For me,
It was a
it's definitely the chomp. Yeah, the chomp kill. I'd have to say. Although
wait. I
the saw blade's face mask is pretty gnarly too, and the dude getting his face chewed off by the cupcake was also pretty fucked.
no,
So
yeah, have to agree with like yeah, no, I do have a favorite and it's the dude that get his face chomped by the cupcake one.
that was like
Uh
one of the first deaths
it
to
was.
happen.
It was and it was funny.
Pretty solid one
Cuz
too.
at least you got to see that happening from like at least a distance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you get the aftermath later when you least
Yeah.
expect it.
Yep.
I do think though, yeah, the visuals of like the security guard waking up and like the saw blades in the mask coming towards them with the saw blades, like that is definitely a horrifying visual right
Oh
there.
yeah.
Like, it's pretty well done. So, just so you know, in the games, the name of the quote unquote big yellow rabbit, the boss battle that shows up at the end, if you will, is
Yeah.
that is Springtrap.
Springtrap. Okay.
Yeah, which was referenced when they talk about the spring traps in the things. One of the discarded puppets or dolls or animatronics that you saw, the one that he was gonna touch before she told him not to, and then she used the broom and the spring trap went off and all that. That
Yeah.
female doll right there, she was introduced in the games in the sister location game, I think. Later on.
Okay.
So that was just like another Easter egg for the fans of the games. They're like, oh,
Okay.
I recognize that, and I recognize that. There's Easter eggs all over the place in that movie.
Oh yeah, I
So,
believe it. Of course it was a movie made for the fans of the games,
yeah,
but it's enjoyable all around, even if you've never played the games.
agreed. Okay, so, real quick then, I have one last thing as well. It is
Okay.
it is a recommendation because I'm only like 3 or 4 episodes into it, so
Okay.
I can't go
Can't give it a
full.
can't give it a full review.
No review, but literally 1 episode in, I thought it was good enough to recommend. So
Okay.
this is a show on Showtime, but it's called Yellow Jackets,
Yellow
and
Jackets. Okay.
this is a show about a group of high school girls on a soccer team who crash land in the woods on the airplane flight. They're going to nationals. There's an accident. The plane crashes in the woods, and they have to do unspeakable things to survive out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the show switches between two time perspectives: the past, when they were kids surviving in the wilderness after the plane
Mm-hmm.
crash, and the present, where the survivors as adults are dealing with the trauma and aftermath of the things they had to do to survive out there.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it is so, in a way, but you can kind of tell to an extent who lives and dies based off who's an adult in the present.
Mm-hmm.
But the show does really good at slowly revealing characters that are still alive, so that you aren't sure who does and doesn't die in the past. But
Mm-hmm.
also, there are characters who are still alive in the present that may also, there are characters who die in the past, and there are characters who die in the present. This is a thriller. This is a even borderline horror sometimes type show. It's
Okay.
not like, at least from what I can tell so far, it's not supernatural. Although there was one scene where a girl has a flashback to when her grandma was passing away, and she freaked out because she saw a man with no eyes in the corner of the room,
Oh
and that was
Jesus
a freak.
Christ.
That was a freaky scene. But this is mostly about the horrible things they have to do, like cannibalism in the wilderness to survive.
Jesus
So
Christ. Okay.
yeah, it's heavily alluded at the end of the first episode. One
Well,
of the things they had
I
to do.
don't have Showtime, so I would love to check it out, but I don't have Showtime.
I think I'm watching this on Paramount Plus, but I think there's like a Showtime add-on or something for it. I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
mean I've got Paramount Plus, but I do not have the Showtime add-on.
Oh, fair enough. You could always sail the seven seas if you wanted. Um,
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
that.
you do have a Plex server.
I
Uh,
do. I do, don't I?
but yeah, this show is, I want to say, 2 seasons in now, or maybe,
Okay.
or the second season just started, or it's about to start, or something like
I'd
that.
need
But
to get a
anyways,
fucking external hard drive for my computer if I was gonna sail the seven seas.
I mean, it really depends, because movies are big, but it depends on the quality of the movie.
Yeah.
Most of them are like maybe 2 or 3 gigs at most.
Yeah.
Which, if you have like a 500 gig hard drive, you'd have to have like 200 movies on there before you start to run out of room.
Yeah, true.
um, but yeah, this show I highly recommended, because, well, the cast is great too. It's got Melanie Lewinsky in it, Julia Lewis, not Juliette Lewis, Julia Lewis, Christina Ricci is in
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
Christina
yeah,
Ricci, okay.
she plays the adult version of one of the craziest characters in the show named Misty. She's an absolute nut job.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and she plays it so well. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, the actors that they got to play the kid versions of them do just as good of a job. It's very well done.
Nice.
Um,
Very nice.
yeah, it is a dark show intrigued with mystery, because in the present they start freaking out because someone sends them a postcard with a symbol on it relevant to their past, and they're all freaking out trying to figure out who's screwing with
Ooh.
them. And like one of them is running for president, or like mayor or something, and she's like, I can't have this right now, so she hires an investigative reporter to like dig into the other ones, and like, so it's this whole like thing where like they're all starting to turn on each other because they all think that each other is trying to dig up the past, you know?
Makes
Uh,
sense.
so there's this like whole mystery behind like who's screwing with them, who's like their past is coming back to haunt them, but who's behind it? You know what I
Right.
mean? So you get two stories, you get the past and the present, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it jumps around a little. In the beginning of every episode, it'll tell you when it's in the past and it'll tell you when it's in the present, but
Makes sense.
after a while it'll just switch back and forth without telling you because it expects you, the viewer, to be smart enough to tell the difference between kids and adults. you
Right.
know, there
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious after 3 episodes in when you're in the past and when you're in the present, you know.
Exactly.
So, and this is the kind of show you have to pay attention to. Otherwise,
Makes
you
sense.
will not understand what's happening.
Right.
Yeah, because of that jump aroundiness so much.
Makes
So,
sense.
but I highly recommend this. Yeah, it's called Yellow Jackets because that's the name of their soccer team, by the way.
Okay. Makes
That's
sense.
why. Yeah, but it does, whenever the credits roll, it does make buzzing noises like Yellow Jackets flying around.
Okay.
Yeah. It might be a layered name. There might be more to it because Yellow Jackets are like known for their aggressiveness. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but again, I'm only on the fourth episode of the first season, so I haven't even scratched the surface of what the show has to offer, and I'm already hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
All
So,
right. All right. I'll have to see if I can find a way to watch this.
most definitely. If not, I'll help you. Um,
Okay. Perfect.
but yeah. So that is the media corner. Just a quick recap. We had a review for Insidious: The Red Door, available on Netflix. We had
Yes.
a review for Fort Solace, a PlayStation 5 and PC game. Um, we had a recommendation for Man of Medan, a game
Yes.
available on most platforms except for the Switch. Um, it actually might be on there too. I could be wrong about that. It's available
Yeah.
on almost every platform.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a recommend, and
Yes.
then we had a review for Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes.
Was it, which is available on Peacock
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
also currently in theaters, and then a review for Gen V, which is
Yeah.
available on Prime Video.
Yep.
And then, of course, the Yellow Jackets, which is available on Showtime. So,
Yes.
all right. Well, with that out of the way, I
Let's
say we
let's
transition into the
the
topic.
topic.
Yes, grab the tissues, folks. It's time to cry.
I'm so sad. Leave me alone.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are at this episode's topic. Um, and Nick has volunteered to take the reins on this one, so I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna give him the floor.
Okay, so the topic of discussion today is tearjerkers. So bust out the the tissue box, sit back, listen, or watch wherever you're listening or watching this, and enjoy. All right. So the first book, or the only book I really have that I can really throw into this category. I'm gonna get a little vulnerable with you guys here for a minute because I know I've like briefly like mentioned it here and there, but there was a life event that happened in my life, um, and this book, it's titled "Grieving Dads to the Brink and Back." I had a son. He only lived to be a month old, and this book whenever I should really probably pick it up more often than I do. But this book has helped me through some times, and the guy that wrote this book, I don't know, I because I know this was I saw the article for this book on Facebook. I think the guy made an appearance on the Ellen show. I don't know. I can't remember. But the guy that wrote this book is a grieving dad of his himself, and he couldn't seem to find any like resource materials for grieving dads, and what he could find, it was material um on ways to console your significant other in this process, but nothing that caters to men. Well, so that being said, he took it upon himself to write this book. And in this book is stories from many other grieving dads that have lost children as well. Um, I really need to, like I really need to pick this up more than what I have lately. Like I want to say this is probably the first time I've picked this book up in months, and the last time I picked it up, I didn't even look inside. Today, just before the podcast, I did I looked at the author's the author's preface introduction in the book, and it's just a reminder that I gotta pick up books more often.
It is very strong of you to share that with
Yeah,
everyone, and
it,
I commend. I
I
commend.
it's not easy talking about it because I mean he,
No, I can imagine.
especially this year. This year talking about it really is really tough because this is it was back in 2017. He was born on September 12th and died Friday, October 13th. And this is the first year since that year that October 13th has landed on a Friday, and it just made it that much worse.
Right. I gotcha. Um, I sometimes a good cry can be therapeutic. It's one of
Yes.
the reasons I thought this would be a good topic for media stuff too, because
Yeah.
when it comes to stories and the way they're told, and especially when they're presented in an audiovisual medium, things like the music and the way it's filmed and even the acting can emotionally manipulate the audience into feeling some
Oh,
kind of way.
absolutely. Netflix is good at that shit.
Just if just if it's done, yeah. So um so I think that a good cry is a good thing because that emotional response evoked out of the
Yeah.
audience means that the director did what they
Mhm.
wanted to. But since you're talking about books, I'm going to stay on that for a moment because I actually remember reading a lot of sad books in high school. Um,
Okay.
so well, this one wasn't in high school, but this is a very infamous book with a sad ending. Marley and Me.
Oh, yes. That was a
Yeah.
book?
That was a book before it was
I
a
did
movie,
not know
yes.
that. I was going to talk
Yeah.
about the Marley and Me
Um
movie later on when we transition to movies.
Okay, yeah, that's. I mean, it's
I-
still
If it, yeah,
woof.
woof.
no, no pun intended. But damn, that's a
It
sad
really
ending.
is.
Um.
It really is.
Uh. Although I have to laugh when Family Guy made fun of it, where he was like, Marley, don't get your muddy paw prints all over my important documents. Marley, don't shake your wet fur all over our guests. Marley, don't tear up these irreplaceable expensive things. And then at the end, he's like, aw, my terrible nightmare dog is dead.
Okay, so I'm gonna stay on topic whilst also going off topic because I don't know if
Uh huh.
my daughter's been watching the movie Inside Out a lot lately, and there,
Oh, that's a God, yeah.
so
I know what you're gonna
so
say. I know what you're gonna say.
there was a moment where Sadness says, "Yo, you remember that funny movie where the dog dies?" Because of course, Sadness is
Oh,
gonna think that that's funny.
oh, that's not what I thought you were gonna talk about in Inside Out. We're talking about sad moments, and you mentioned Inside Out. It's Bing Bong. That's the sad moment.
Yes, Bing Bong.
The the death of that character is the sad moment in that movie.
Yes.
God damn, that moment is sad as fuck.
Yeah, it
That
was.
is Oh, that is absolutely
No,
sad. Sad, sad,
I said,
sad.
I,
Yeah, I probably should have warned people. This is going to be kind of a spoilery topic.
yeah.
But,
So yeah, no, I brought up that specific part because we were talking about Marley and me. I was going off topic
okay, yeah.
while simultaneously staying on topic.
Well, since you brought it up, you can't bring up Inside Out in an episode like this and not talk about Bing Bong's
Yeah,
sacrifice.
you're
God
not.
damn,
Yeah,
that
no,
shit
that
was
that
sad.
shit was sad. Bing Bong.
Disney movies are gonna get a huge chunk in
Yes,
this
the fuck
episode,
they
but
are.
we'll get there.
Fox and the Hound being
So
one of
sticking
them.
with books, I think Where the Red Fern Grows was sad, if I remember correctly.
I don't think I ever read that one.
I think something happened to the dog in that one too. Of Mice and Men, because of him having to kill Lenny in the end. That's sad. Because
Okay.
Lenny didn't mean to hurt that girl. He was just not smart. You know that story, don't you, of Mice and Men?
I vaguely.
Okay, yeah, this shit is like that book was written like years like centuries ago. With this is like way beyond the statute of limitations at this point. So
Yeah.
basically these two guys, they're brothers, I think, looking for work. One of them is smart. It's like Lenny and George or something. George and Lenny, I think they are. And he Family Guy did a in the episode where they did like storybooks is things like they did the Great Gatsby and Huckleberry
Yeah.
Finn and Of Mice and Men was one of the ones they did. So yeah, so when they did that, but basically the story goes, long story short, they go to the farm, they find work, but the farmer's daughter, I think, seduces Lenny, and Lenny's a bit slow in the head. He's a big, strong oaf, but not very smart, and he's mentally disabled, so he ends up accidentally killing her, and like everyone's hunting him down, and it's really sad because at the end, George has to kill Lenny out of it. He mercy kills him because he knows that if he doesn't, what the townsfolk will do if they get a hold of him will be much, much worse. So
Right.
as he goes to kill his mentally disabled friend or brother or whatever, mercy kill him to save him from this horrible fate that's about to befall him. He tells him to look up at the stars and stuff, and he used to tell him stories of how they were gonna buy a farm and they were gonna raise rabbits.
Okay.
They were gonna raise rabbits on this farm, and so he's telling Lenny before he shoots him, before he kills him, to think of the rabbits, and it's just a very sad moment.
Jeez.
It's like Yeah, it's definitely they actually did like a live action version of it
Okay.
at one point, but yeah, definitely look up like me even just watch like a YouTube synopsis of like the story of Mice and Men cuz I what I just told you did it no justice, but like it is once you actually hear the lines in context, it's so
Oh, I
heartbreaking.
believe it.
um him having to kill his brother like that. It's such a sad story. Um But yeah, those were a couple of books with sadness in them. I'm trying to think if there's any others. I would have to say, like, I bet you the Hunger Games books, the deaths in them were a lot more sad than they
I'll
were in
tell
the
you. I'll
movies.
tell you a
You
pretty
know,
sad book series. I guarantee it. I guarantee it's
hmm.
sad. Sad. There's a lot of sad
What?
moments in the movies. Twilight.
We're just gonna recycle our old jokes now.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You know what? You do bring up a good point, though, and we are going to get to this later. We're doing sad stuff now, but we're also going to do tears of joy and tears of
Yes.
laughter as well. So, um, but not, well, maybe not so much laughter, because we'll do an episode about comedies
Yeah.
down the line. But but this is like, tears of joy is still like an emotional response, not a
Yeah.
haha one. So, um, but yeah, those are some heavy books with some heavy things going
Mm-hmm.
on in them. So I mentioned Family Guy a couple of times, so I have to admit the episode where they quote unquote killed
Bro.
Brian and replaced him for a few
Bro.
episodes. Yeah, they
I
had that was
bawled like.
sad.
Oh my god. Mm-mm.
I mean, I knew it was gonna probably come back eventually, but at the same
I
time,
lost
like
my
that
shit.
scene is just so well filmed. Well filmed. It's animated,
Right.
but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
I know. I lost my
Yeah.
shit, bro. I lost my shit.
And on the note of animated cartoons that made us cry, this is so stupid, but this is actually what gave me the idea for this episode. Is the it's a really old Thanksgiving episode of South Park where Timmy adopts a disabled turkey that he names Gobbles, and it is truly one of the saddest episodes in the whole series when he has to let him go at the end.
Poor
Um,
Timmy. Timmer.
and not only that though, because it also, of course, they're just trying to be funny by like overselling the whole situation, but as Timmy's letting Gobbles go and realizing the
Gobbles.
camera pans over, the camera pans over and there's this guy and his girlfriend breaking up because he cheated on her, and he's like, I'm sorry, please don't leave me. And she's like, why'd you do it in the first place? He's like, I don't know. And they start crying, and then there's an old man on the bench with his middle-aged son, and he's like, I wasted my life, son. I'm dying and I have nothing to show for it. I should have told you I loved you. And then they start crying, and then there's a girl with her dead cat, and she's like, no, Scruffles, and she
Jesus
starts crying.
Christ.
And it just keeps doing shit like that, and then there's a woman that looks at the camera and says, have you made the right choices in your life? And then it just pans up to
That's
the sky,
dark.
and I'm like, this is fucking stupid, but I'm tearing up. Like, this is making me genuinely sad. Like,
That's fucking dark.
yeah. Well, of course it is. It's South Park.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, sometimes these cartoons, they can be tearjerkers. Futurama was the best for this, though. They had several episodes that pulled at your heartstrings, but the most memorable one, by far, is Jurassic Bark. Because, oh, for the love of God, that dog, when Fry ends up frozen and ends up going to the future, that dog stayed there and waited for him in that same spot until it died of starvation. All those
Mm-hmm.
years. That was... Like, that is some loyalty that cannot be
No.
matched. That and, like, the episode where he finally gets to say goodbye to his mom, but it's in a dream, but it's, like, closure for
Yup.
him. It's like, fuck!
Yeah, no, dude.
These cartoons are supposed to be... These cartoons are supposed to be funny. Why do they keep making me cry?
No, another okay, so there's a whole okay. So there was a lot of times I found myself just mumbling under my breath, "Fuck you, Netflix," because there's times where I was binge watching one of the shows while I was doing the security gig, and I would find myself crying because these shows are so goddamn good. Lucifer is a good
Okay.
example. Lucifer had me like that one had me.
We're gonna need specifics, my friend.
Oh, dude, I don't even remember.
What happened in Lucifer that made you cry? Made you
Dude,
sad?
I'd have to go back and watch. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well,
I will say another.
let's do some things.
There
Yep.
was another show that was a heavy topic hitter on Netflix where they're in season 1 and in season 2 they had to go back and edit out two of the most graphic scenes in these in this show. This show also being the first season based on the book 13 Reasons Why.
Oh yeah, that's oof.
That show
Yeah.
was an emotional roller coaster in itself. Mainly the final season.
Um.
You get
Um. Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple.
the
So, what's that?
what Netflix is really good at when they do their shows, and when any network does when they do their shows, is they get you so hooked on these shows that you become emotionally invested in these characters. And eh, and there's another
Ah,
show
yes,
that I'm going to
as it
talk
should
about,
be for
and
something like this.
and I'm going into spoiler territory for anybody that hasn't seen. I'll get there. I'll get to that one.
Wait, wait, wait. Hold on, because if it's the one I'm thinking of, I do want to say that there is one show that I do want to avoid saying spoilers, but we can say that there was sad
God
moments
damn
by a
it, because
long
that's what
shot,
I
and
was gonna
that
go.
is
God damn
Supernatural
it.
because of because of some of the people who are listening to this. But I agree with you when it comes to the finale. Yes, that is.
Bro, I
I know what
cried
you're
like
talking
a
about, and I agree.
bitch. I
Definitely,
fucking
I feel like there's a lot of
yeah.
happy tears there though as well. Um, but a lot of character deaths throughout the
Yeah.
series also were very upsetting. To be sure. Um, I can think of another good example. There was a very undeserved, very like they should have never did this, and probably the most emotional I ever got over a character death in a TV show was the death of a character in Orange Is the New Black
Oh,
on Netflix. We were
which
talking about
character was it? Because
uh
I binged.
Pusey,
Oh yeah, that's right.
the death that started the
Yep.
riots. Yeah,
Yep.
that I was so torn up over
Oh, I
that. I was
bet. Oh
distraught.
no,
That was so
that was a
undeserved.
tough. That was no, that
Yeah.
was a rough one. Um.
Yeah, that was rough.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that one had me. That one had
I
me
don't
going.
even
I
remember
do
what I
want to
was
give
talking
a.
about.
I do want to give a quick example of happy tier, real quick before I forget.
Okay.
Um, it would be um the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 when they finally make it home after all this bullshit that they've been
Uh
through,
huh.
and they're crying cuz they're happy to be home, and Sora's like we're back, and Kyrie's like you're home, and she like reaches her hand out, and the song is playing, and like they grab the hands, and the screen cuts to black, and the song like picks up more, and the credits roll, and I was like Oh, dude, like fucking 16-year-old me at that point was like, oh, my heart.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna
Holy
I'm gonna jump
shit!
back over
Like,
to TV for a moment because we're just
yes.
I'm gonna um
I just wanted to get that one Happy Tears one in there before I forgot
yeah,
because that
nah, you're good.
to this day it still gives me goosebumps. Granted, it doesn't matter anymore because of everything that comes after it, but at the time that was a very well deserved happy
Yeah.
ending. You know, that was one of those like they earned that ending. They
Mm-hmm.
earned that ending.
Yeah. Um, and this happened about a month or so, no, a couple months ago. Couple months ago now. God damn, he's been gone that long. He's been gone. Never, ever in my time of being a wrestling fan have I ever cried during an episode of Friday Night SmackDown like I did when they did the 2 hour long tribute show to Bray Wyatt. Dude, I lost my shit. As soon as they put the spotlight on the chair,
Yeah.
Cue Waterworks, bro. That was that was well written. Not I wouldn't say written, but it was well done. Because they had an entire episode of SmackDown that before they had gotten word that Bray Wyatt had passed away, that they were going to air, but they scrapped all of the plans to have a storyline driven episode of SmackDown, and they did a 2 hour tribute show to Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk on the fly. Like, that was a last minute thought.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, there's been a lot of celebrity deaths that were
Yeah.
kind of rough like that.
Oh, yeah.
But in the subject of the media itself, so I so this is technically TV but also video game.
Okay.
The opening of The Last of Us.
Yes.
When the pandemic starts and Joel's daughter gets gunned
Yep.
down at the
Oh, yeah.
end
No,
of
that
the
was
opening.
that scene was rough, dude. That scene was hard to watch.
Yeah, that's a rough one. That's one of the most infamous opening scenes in video game history.
Yep.
And it really sets the tone for the rest of the story going forward.
Sure does.
It's woof, yeah. And yeah, that's just a hell of a like I've seen people like showcase the game to other people and they're like, look, just watch like the first 20 minutes and tell me that you're not interested.
Right.
You know? Like, and as soon as the title screen hits, they're like, all right, I gotta go buy this. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm definitely putting that one up there.
Yeah.
So many Disney movies fall in this category, of course,
Bruh.
because obviously, I mean, can you think of a single Disney movie that doesn't have a dead parent or two?
Bro,
You
the
know?
one I remember seeing in theaters when I was a kid, and I burst into tears in the theater, was Brother Bear.
Oh, okay.
Brother Bear was a really sad one for me.
I'm thinking of like Mufasa's death in The Lion King, because that one's pretty big. To
That's-
this day, that one still makes me tear up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one for the history books. Another one, another one, I would say, that kind of had me tearing up towards the end, is Fox and the Hound.
Oh god, that is a depressing movie for sure.
Yes,
That is,
it really is.
That is one of Disney's most like dreary
I
movies.
just watched that with my daughter the other day.
Bambi, the opening of Bambi.
Bambi's and all these Bambi's mom jokes.
Dumbo is super depressing.
Sure is.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Dumbo's kind of scary sometimes.
Yeah.
uh,
Oh, let's see.
Maybe that's where Dylan's fear of trains came from.
Jesus fuck. God damn it.
Dude, the opening of Big Hero 6, Tadashi.
Yes. Tadashi.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. That
one was sad.
Up. The whole opening montage of Up.
Yes,
yeah.
The whole opening montage of Up. Yes, absolutely.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
You know how? Okay, so I'm gonna switch off the Disney Switch real quick, and I'm gonna hop on over to Nickelodeon.
Really?
Yes. Both, actually, all three of the goddamned Rugrats movies made me cry like a goddamn baby.
Okay, I was about to say, you're not going to say SpongeBob, are you?
No, the fucking Rugrats movies, bro. Like,
really?
Well,
I mean, they're movies about babies, so they had a lot of crying in them.
Okay, yeah. So the one that really got me the one that got me the most was when and the Rugrats movie where Tommy is about to put the baby food, the banana baby food on Dill for the monkeys to attack him. And then he realizes what he's doing when he sees his reflection in the pocket watch that his dad gave him. And he doesn't like what he sees. So he stops and profusely apologizes to Dill. That shit gets me every fucking time. Every time.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a couple more good examples here.
There was the one. I was gonna move on to the Rugrats in Paris tearjerker that really gets me.
Okay.
The one part that always gets me every fucking time in Rugrats in Paris is when they're flying in the airplane, but I think they're flying there, maybe flying back. I can't remember. But when there's a vision in the clouds, and it's the fucking music that they play during this scene that gets me, because it flows so well with the vision in the clouds of Chucky and his mom.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. I'm almost choking up just talking about it.
I got some heavy hitters for us. I hope you're ready for this. Right?
Okay. Shoot.
The Green Mile.
I can't speak on that one because I have not seen it.
Oh man, you've missed out on a huge piece of cinematic history.
Yeah, I need to get on that shit.
Tom Hanks, Michael Duncan Clark, may he rest in peace.
Yep.
He really good, but the movie, do you know what it's about?
No. Not
it's
a damn
about
clue.
It's about a man on death row who's like supposedly, and it's kind of ambiguous, but I think you're led to believe he's wrongfully accused for the murder of these two girls, and he's this big, strong, scary-looking black guy, and this is during the racist times, and they're two little white girls, so,
damn.
he's screwed, but he has this special power where he can heal people's diseases by absorbing it into himself, and the movie takes some turns with it. Yeah, it's called The Green Mile because when they're going to death row, they're walking the Green Mile.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the movie is a emotional watch. One of the guys on death row is a mentally handicapped guy who makes friends with a mouse.
What the fuck? What did the mentally handicapped guy do to get?
You have to remember the time that the movie takes place in.
That's fair.
He probably just scared some lady, you know, but like this was, you know, when they did lobotomies and shit. So,
That's yeah, that's fair. Okay.
yeah. Saving Private Ryan is another good one, especially from, I mean, obviously I was never in a war, but people who have been to war. Say the opening of Saving Private Ryan is, from what I understand, extremely accurate to what actually happened during that the storm on the beach during that day.
Okay.
Like what actually happened during that time, and it is gruesome. It is hard to watch, and it gets parodied a lot in other things like Sausage Party. Um,
There's okay, so I'll let you finish with this one, but I've got another war related movie that I wanted to talk about.
yeah. We could do that because like war related movies in general are like sad and hard to watch most of the time.
Yeah.
They're pretty real.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But Saving Private Ryan is by far one of the best ones out there. Like one of the best movies ever made in general, truly.
Yeah.
So,
So the
what's the one you were thinking of?
brothers with
Oh,
Jake Gyllenhaal and Toby Maguire.
but that one's more like urban, right? Not not like war soldier. This one's more like
This one
like SWAT, isn't it, or something like
no,
that?
it's Toby Maguire's character
I've
is
seen this. It's just been a long time.
it's got Jake Gyllenhaal, Natalie Portman, and Toby Maguire. While on tour in Afghanistan, Sam's copter, Sam being Toby Maguire, is shot down as he is presumed dead. Back home, it is his screw up brother, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who looks after the family. Sam does return, but with a lot of excess baggage. This movie shows off what PTS what war can do to a soldier in PTSD.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I remember that movie. That was a good one.
It
That
was
was
yeah. It was really good.
I got another heavy hitter for you. Like the entire
Okay.
movie, just cause the premise of it is
Okay.
fucking gut wrenching.
Go for it.
The boy in the striped pajamas.
God damn it, another one I haven't seen.
That is, you follow a prisoner of war during the World War II, and
Okay.
it's a child. Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah. I haven't seen it, but I hear The Fault in Our Stars is pretty sad. Because the kid has cancer in
Yeah.
it. The main dude. Um, I would like to give a special shout out to that scene in Infinity War where Tom Holland ad libbed Spider Man's death line. I don't want to go, Mister Starker. So, you know, I don't want to go. Anyways,
Mhm.
that was sad. I mean, even though we knew he was coming back, his acting was so good in that scene that it definitely made me emotional.
Bro,
Um,
fucking Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was fucking
yes. Oh my
emotional.
god, that movie hit me in the
Bro,
feels so many times.
I laughed,
And
I fucking cried. Man.
oh, the death of his friends, the deaths of his friends.
Mhm.
That's probably the saddest scene in
Oh,
the entire movie.
abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's where I cried the hardest.
And the scene where they think that they lost Rocket and Peter is just like wailing. Oh my god, that destroyed me seeing that.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Ugh, yeah, ooh, that was a good one.
It
Um
was.
Ooh, here's another cartoon that'll make you cry at the end.
Hmm.
The Iron Giant.
Bruh, you ain't lying. That's like one of my
So
favorite movies.
you've seen that one?
I
Oh,
fucking love that movie. I had
you
the
remember
fucking
his final line, Superman.
mm-hmm. No, that hit me in the
Oh,
feels every fucking time.
it hurts.
It does. Another
Finding Dory.
yes.
Yes. Oh, What about when Tony Stark died in Endgame?
Bro, I still haven't even actually seen the ending of Endgame. My
Yeah, but
fucking
.
yeah, I know about it, but it it was spoiled for me when it was still relevant because
Okay.
someone had basically pulled up the video on YouTube on his phone and basically handed it to me. Like he said, "Here, watch this." I'm like, "What the fuck? God damn it! I didn't know Tony Stark. God damn it!"
That's unfortunate. What kind of asshole? Wow.
That's my
Okay.
brother-in-law.
Um. So, have you ever seen I Am Legend, the one with Will Smith?
Yes.
The dog.
Mm-hmm.
What he has to do to the dog is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
The incinerator scene in Toy Story 3 where they're all holding hands and think they're about to die.
Yup.
That got to me. Yeah, that definitely got to me. I know you haven't seen Coco, but that movie is so fucking sad. God
Yeah.
damn, that
I
movie is
believe it.
sad. I cried so hard watching Coco. It is um yeah. Um but here's one that'll appeal to you. What about the deaths of Dumbledore and Snape in the Harry Potter movies?
You know which one I cried over over more than them?
Huh.
Fucking Dobby.
You know what? You're fair.
Bro, I cried That's no, okay. Dobby and Hedwig. I cried when Hedwig died too.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, because it's always sad when an animal dies.
It
That's why
is.
like, anytime you see a movie that's gonna have an animal as the main character, like Mighty Joe Young, I'm automatically skeptical.
The right.
What about that scene in Rise of Skywalker where Rey, it didn't actually happen, but for a moment they make us think that she killed Chewbacca.
Yeah.
You remember that when she blows up the ship and she's like, "Oh God, what have I done?" Like that shook me for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not
Also
saying I
the
not
also
saying I want Chewbacca to die, but I do kind of feel cheated at the fact that they like wussed out on it.
well
Yeah, at the same time.
since we're talking about the Star Wars sequel films, I'll throw in the death of Han Solo in there. The fucking
Yeah.
emotional rampage that Chewbacca went on after fucking Ben fucking just no fucks given. But Chewbacca, oh my god, he went, for lack of better terms, he went postal. He did.
Um,
He went postal.
I keep thinking of this scene from a movie that I can't remember the name of, but it had, I want to say, a young Macaulay Culkin in it, and there's a scene where his character is allergic to bees and he dies.
Huh?
And the girl that he's friends with is at his funeral. Yeah. Hold on, I got this. Let me do a quick Google search.
Okay.
Movie where Macaulay Culkin dies to bee stings. It's called My Girl.
Okay. I've never seen.
There's a
I've not seen that one.
a movie called My Girl where oops, it's yeah, it's a coming of age romantic comedy drama film.
Mm-hmm.
Um it tells the story of an 11-year-old girl living in Madison, Pennsylvania during the summer of 1972, and she's a bit of a hypochondriac, and her dad runs a funeral parlor, blah, and she ends up with this like obsession with death.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, there's anyways the kid Macaulay Culkin's character. It's also got Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd in it.
Okay.
Um, but his character, he's just a kid, like a young kid in this one, like Home Alone young, and
Right.
he his character dies from a bee sting allergy in the movie, and it's a very sad moment in the movie. Just in general. I'll also say, just like, even if the movie has a happy ending, any movie where animals get lost and have to find their way home just makes me sad by default because they're lost. You know what I
Strays.
mean? The Strays was funny, although it did have some emotional moments. You're not wrong. It did have some tear moments in that movie.
It did.
But I'm thinking of like Homeward Bound is one
Oh,
of them.
fucking classics.
Yeah, that's a classic. But it's Milo and Otis.
I love that movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, here's a sad old dog movie for you, Old Yeller.
I mean, they Lassie.
Yeah. Um, yeah, they had some moments. Oh, it's kind of funny. Oh, you know what gets me still thinking about it is the ending of Fast and Furious 7 with all the Paul Walker stuff.
Yep.
And that song playing. And there was a Family Guy episode a few years back where they kind of paid homage to that. But like Brian gets drunk and rips apart Rupert, and he takes Stewie on an adventure to like spread Rupert's ashes over a mountain. And it's a weirdly emotional moment. And there's like a in memoriam to Paul Walker at the end of the episode, and it's actually kind of sad.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. Yes. There's a funny moment though where they're at the top of the mountain and Stewie's like, pour one out for Rupert, Brian. He's like, pour one of what out? He's like, whatever you've got, just pour it out for Rupert. He's like, I've got a Gatorade bottle full of piss from the long drive. He's like, pour it out for Rupert.
I'm dead. Oh,
shit. Can you think of any happy tears moments that you've had? Things that were just like so beautiful that it made you cry? It's like a happy ending that was so beautiful.
Yeah, the
I think
ending of the first Mighty Ducks movie.
Okay. Because I was gonna say Elemental kind of did that for me.
Yeah, the Elemental did that for me too. But no, the first Mighty Ducks movie, them's was some happy tears because those kids fucking deserve that win.
Okay. Yeah, I have to agree. It kind of reminds me,
Because
there was some sad...
Speaking of, I just did a fucking binge watch of all three films.
You kind of just reminded me, though, that there were some sad moments in some sports movies, too. Like, Remember the Titans.
Yep.
Had... Yeah.
Radio.
Yeah, yep, for sure. Radio. And then, of course, there are some movies that just deal with... the subject material by nature is like
sad,
emotionally difficult. Yeah, like Antoine Fisher, for example. That's
Barbie.
a big one. I guess.
And I didn't find myself crying during that one. I just had to throw it out there.
Yeah, no. There sometimes they'll get me though. I know someone who said during Avengers Endgame, the scene where they go back in time and Tony gets to talk to his dad in person really got to him because
that makes sense.
They never got that opportunity with their own father, so
yeah,
it's kind of a thing. Yeah, there's also that scene on Vormir where Hawkeye and Black Widow fight over who's gonna sacrifice themselves for the stone.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a emotional situation.
There's a oh shit. There is a oh god.
There were in Spider-Man No Way Home, the newer one with all the Spider-Men together.
Yeah, and fuck the one that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire swore up and down they had nothing to do with it, and everybody already knew.
Right. Well, anyways, the scene where where Andrew Garfield Spider-Man catches MJ is like a redemption for him not saving Gwen Stacy in his own movie.
Yep.
And the look on his face when he catches her, that got me. That and when Peter is stopping the other Peter from killing the goblin and the look on his face. No words, just a look. It's very strong. Yeah.
There was
very strong emotionally.
Yeah, I don't... Okay. This This one had. This is another animated like children's movie, but this one always got to me. Secret of Nim.
Oh, yeah. You're not wrong. Oh, I would say maybe there were some. Speaking of animated mouse movies, there were probably some sad moments in Fievel.
50 Goes West, yeah.
I'm thinking. I'm
Also,
thinking specific. No, I'm thinking more of the first one when him and his sister are both singing that song "Somewhere Out There."
yes, yes,
That's a sad one.
it is.
You know what? While we still have time, we should talk about sad songs. We've done a lot of movies
Yeah,
and TV shows. We
I
should do some
fucking
songs
bet.
and
I got an
do some
entire
songs
fucking
and yeah.
library. I have an entire playlist dedicated to sad songs.
Rapid fire them. Tell me the song and the artist. Give me a
Okay,
list.
let me go and find the. Okay, so I have it.
You made a playlist specifically for sad songs?
I sure the fuck did, and I call it Grief Therapy Mix. Gone Too Soon by
Okay.
Daughtry. See You Again
Uh-huh.
featuring Charlie Puth by Wiz Khalifa. Galaxy
Yep.
by Like a Storm. Shine by Fight or Flight. Home by Daughtry. I Still Miss You by Keith Anderson. Till Death maps to the Hollywood Scars. Um, let's see. Drink a Beer by Luke Bryan. Um,
Okay.
When I Get Where I'm Going by Brad Paisley. Let's see. And then this one really hits home because he's one of my favorite TikTok creators. On TikTok, he's known as Tainted Lyric. His name is Steven Champion. But like myself, he is also a grieving dad. And he wrote a song about his son Liam. And he called it Liam's Song by Steven Champion.
Okay.
But there was
Okay.
no those first four songs, Gone Too Soon by Daughtry, See You Again by Wiz Khalifa, Galaxy by Like a Storm. Those three songs were played at my son's memorial service. We wanted to add Shine by Fight or Flight, but it was a little too late to do so.
Okay. I am going to um just to keep us on the side of balance.
Hmm.
I'm going to rapid fire some sad video game moments real quick that I can think of too.
I have one. I
Um
have one to throw in there that was tough for me to play. That was Heavy Rain.
yep, that's a good one. Yep. I can see that. I would say Detroit Become Human has some
Yep,
pretty strong emotional moments
sure
in it
does.
with the whole fighting for their rights thing.
Mm-hmm.
When in Gears of War 2, when Dom discovers the ghost of his wife, that is a
Okay.
pretty sad one. The entirety of the Life is Strange franchise is pretty melancholy.
Okay.
Um, like it's like Life is Strange in general is a uh very very emotional franchise.
Mm-hmm.
The white phosphorus scene in Spec Ops: The Line, when you think that you're taking down a bunch of enemies with white phosphorus and then you realize that you've just murdered an entire village of innocent people. It is
Yeah.
crazy. The ending of the first Telltale's The Walking Dead game,
Okay.
um, where the where Clementine has to choose whether or not to kill the man that you've been playing as this whole time, that's been protecting her this entire game. It's a very sad ending, you know, because he's infected.
Yeah.
Um, it is so good though. Red Dead Redemption, the first one, I guess
Okay.
you could say, yeah, it's pretty sad. the entirety of the game Spiritfarer, because literally the whole point of that game is you are ferrying spirits across the river Styx, and you are communicating with them to like learn what happened during their lives and stuff, getting some
Makes
of their
sense.
last memories. Um and the ending of Final Fantasy X, such a very sad sacrifice moment
Yeah.
in that one. Um the ending of Metal Gear Solid 3, uh and a lot of games with like art, like choices that you can make, like RPGs with choices, like the Dragon Age games and stuff, have the potential for having some sad character moments. I would
Mm.
say Morden's death in Mass Effect 3 was a big one for me. Like
Okay.
that moment, literally I paused the game and went to grab a drink. Like I paused the game and had a drink before I kept going after that one.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, that was an interesting a very interesting one. Watching Kratos become vulnerable in the first God of War 2018, especially that when Atreus is being like super snotty towards him and he finally goes off and he's like, "Do not mistake my silence for lack of grief. Mourn how you wish, but leave me to my own." You know,
Yeah.
that gives me goosebumps every goddamn time. The game Firewatch, it's
Okay.
pretty sad in a lot of ways. Um, and that's all I can think of rapid firing off the top of my head off
Okay.
for those ones. Are we thinking of any more? I haven't watched BoJack Horseman all the way through, but I hear that there's some very sad moments in that one. Like the
Neither
show
have
is
I.
it's literally about depression. So,
Yeah.
um, Euphoria has some sad moments.
Euphoria was good.
This Is Us has some very sad moments.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that one.
There was some sad moments
Uh,
in Fuller House.
yep, I believe it. I believe it. When Will's dad left on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, that was.
Yeah. No, that one that was a big one.
And yeah, speaking of Euphoria, when Rue reads her eulogy to her dad on that show is another. Also, Zendaya's just really good.
Yeah.
Uh, um, Grey's Anatomy had some stuff. Gilmore Girls, Game of Thrones. I guess depending on how attached you are to the characters.
Yeah.
For me, it's too violent to be sad though. um,
Yeah.
it's more gratuitous than it is emotional.
There's some pretty
But
pretty emotional parts in True Blood.
yeah, yeah. Um, That's all good.
Oh well.
I know I mentioned The Last of Us once already, but it's worth mentioning that Sarah's death in the beginning isn't the only notable one throughout that franchise that brings on the waterworks. There are several in the first game alone that are
Yeah.
like there's one in the DLC called Left Behind that is like real, and that is also the 7th episode of the show. Um
Okay.
yeah, and there's another one uh, that
I need to start watching that again.
two characters that they meet. One of them doesn't make it, and it's a very emotional death.
I remember
Um,
that episode. Is that the episode
oh,
3,
the
isn't
Sam
that?
and Henry. Sam, no, nope, not that one. But that is a good moment in the show. That part's not in the game, but I'm glad you brought that up because in the show, that episode definitely counts towards this.
Yes. That was a pretty emotional one.
Yeah, the one with Nick Offerman. Yeah,
Yep. Mhm.
that was a very very good episode. But
Yeah.
anyways, I'm sure there's a lot of there's so many things that we haven't mentioned, but time is
Of the
a
essence.
factor. So yeah,
Yeah.
time is a factor. But man, we covered a lot of ground. I think we talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, we
But
did.
anyways, Let me know, folks, some of your most memorable sad moments in your favorite media if you're watching this on YouTube in the comments down below. And remember to click that like button, or you can email me at mroversoul53@gmail.com. You can follow me on the website formerly known as Twitter at Oversoul53, and so on and so forth. And why not add me on the PlayStation Network if you want to? It's the same as my email. So... there you go.
And you can find me on the website formerly known as Twitter at The Vaping Fiend. On TikTok, the.vaping.fiend. And why not? If you want to add me on the PlayStation Network too, that's fine. At The Vaping Fiend.
Yes, and before we go, I just thought of one more. Extraordinary Measures with Brendan Fraser and Harrison Ford.
Oh, I can't put any input on that. But Inkheart.
Yeah,
Inkheart
but Extraordinary Measures was the one where they're trying to find the cure for cancer. No, not cancer. It was the beginning of them finding the cure for something. It was like polio or something. I don't remember the specifics, but it's based on a true story, and it's very sad. But yeah, that's another good one. But anyways, that's all we have for you today, folks. Hope we didn't make you too sad talking about these sad moments, especially the ones involving animals.
Right.
Anyways, look forward to brighter topics in the near future.
Yes.
And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Good night, everybody.
Bye.